The envelope weighs nothing in my hands, but it feels like it could sink through the marble floor of our bedroom. Our bedroom, I need to stop thinking of it that way. My fingers tremble as I seal it, my name written across the front in careful script, Elena. Not Mrs. Marchetti. Not his wife. Just Elena. The woman I was before I became someone's possession. I set the letter on Matteo's pillow, the cream-colored paper stark against the charcoal silk sheets we've shared for 3 years. 3 years of gilded cages and beautiful lies. 3 years of loving a man who sees me as something to protect, to shelter, to keep behind walls and armed guards, but never truly see. My hands move on autopilot, folding the last of my clothes into the single suitcase I'm allowing myself. 1 suitcase. That's all I'm taking from this palazzo that houses more wealth than most people see in a lifetime. I'm leaving behind the designer dresses, the jewelry that costs more than cars, the life every woman is supposed to want. I'm leaving behind everything except the woman I used to be. The afternoon sun streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Como, painting the water gold and silver. It's beautiful here. It's always beautiful here. That's part of the problem. Everything is so perfect, so controlled, so safe that I've forgotten what it feels like to breathe. My phone sits on the nightstand, his name at the top of my recent calls list. Matteo. I pick it up, my thumb hovering over his contact. He's in Milan today, meeting with the families. He'll be gone until evening. That's why I chose today. That's why I have exactly 4 hours to disappear before he comes home to an empty house. I dial his number. My heart pounds so hard I can feel it in my throat. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. The call goes straight to voicemail. Of course it does. He's in a meeting. He's always in a meeting. The beep sounds, and for a moment, I can't speak. Can't force the words past the tightness in my chest. Matteo, I finally whisper, my voice cracking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I can't do this anymore. I can't be the woman you want me to be. I can't live in a cage, even a golden one. I need you to understand, this isn't about you. It's about me. About the person I'm losing every day I stay. Tears stream down my face, hot and fast. I love you. God help me, I love you so much it's killing me. But love isn't enough when I'm suffocating. When every decision is made for me, every risk calculated away, every piece of myself traded for your protection. My voice drops to barely a whisper. Goodbye forever, amore mio. Please don't look for me. Please just, let me go. I end the call and immediately power off the phone, removing the SIM card with shaking fingers. He'll be able to trace it if I leave it on. I learned that much in 3 years of being Matteo Marchetti's wife. There's no such thing as privacy when you're married to one of the most powerful men in northern Italy. The SIM card goes into the toilet. I flush it, watching it disappear, severing one more connection. In the mirror above the dresser, a stranger stares back at me. My dark hair is pulled into a simple ponytail, my face bare of makeup. I'm wearing jeans and a sweater, clothes from my old life, before Matteo, before all of this. The woman in the mirror looks young, scared, determined. She looks like Elena Rossi again, not Elena Marchetti. The antique clock on the mantel chimes 3 times. 3 o'clock. Marco, Matteo's head of security, changes shifts at 3:15. There's a 7-minute window when the north gate is understaffed, when Giovanni takes his smoke break before Alessandro arrives. 7 minutes. That's all I have. I grab my suitcase and the small backpack containing my laptop, my documents, and the cash I've been saving in secret for 6 months. 20,000 euros, withdrawn in small increments from my personal account. Not enough to run forever, but enough to disappear for a while. My wedding ring catches the light as I reach for the door handle. 3 carats of flawless diamond, set in platinum. Matteo had it custom-made, spent months designing it with the jeweler. When he proposed, he told me it was eternal, unbreakable, like us. I slide it off my finger. It leaves a pale indent in my skin, a ghost of what I'm leaving behind. I place it carefully on top of the letter, a final offering, a final goodbye. The palazzo is quiet as I descend the grand staircase, my footsteps muffled by thick Persian rugs. The staff knows better than to question me. I'm still Mrs. Marchetti, still the mistress of this house. But I can feel their eyes following me as I walk through the marble foyer with my suitcase, can sense their confusion. Signora Maria, the housekeeper who's been kind to me since my first day here, appears from the kitchen. Her weathered face creases with concern. You're leaving. Just for a few days, I lie, the words tasting like ash. A spa retreat. I need some time to myself. She studies me with knowing eyes that have seen too much, lived too long. Does il Signore know? He will, I say softly. Soon. Maria nods slowly, and I see it in her expression, she understands. Maybe she's seen other women try to leave powerful men. Maybe she knows how this story goes. Be careful, piccola, she whispers, using the endearment she's called me since I was a nervous bride. The roads can be dangerous. I will, I promise, though we both know I'm not talking about roads. The driver, Antonio, is waiting by the car as I instructed. He's new, only 2 months in Matteo's employ. He doesn't know all the protocols yet, doesn't understand that I'm never supposed to go anywhere without Marco's approval. To the train station in Como, Signora, he confirms, loading my suitcase into the trunk. Yes. The 3:40 to Milan. Another lie. I'll get off at the first stop, switch to a bus, then another train. By the time Matteo realizes I'm gone, I'll be halfway to the Swiss border. The drive down the winding road from the palazzo takes 12 minutes. 12 minutes of watching Lake Como glitter in the afternoon sun, of passing the village where Matteo and I used to walk on Sunday mornings before his world became too dangerous for simple pleasures. 12 minutes of second-guessing everything. What if I'm wrong? What if I could make him understand? But I've tried. God knows I've tried. I've begged him to let me work, to let me have friends outside his circle, to let me leave the grounds without an armed escort. Each time, he looks at me with those dark eyes full of love and fear and tells me, it's not safe, tesoro. The world is dangerous. I need to know you're protected. Protected. The word has become a prison. At the station, I thank Antonio and tip him generously, money that will hopefully buy his silence for a few hours. The platform is crowded with tourists and locals, a sea of faces I can disappear into. I buy my ticket to Milan with cash, then immediately buy another ticket to Lugano under a false name I've been preparing for months. The train pulls into the station at 3:38. I board without looking back. As we pull away from Como, I watch the palazzo disappear into the distance, a white jewel perched on the hillside. Somewhere in that beautiful prison, my letter sits on Matteo's pillow, waiting to destroy him. I close my eyes and let the tears come. Marchetti loosens his tie as he walks into his study at the palazzo, exhaustion settling into his bones. The meeting in Milan had been brutal. 6 hours of negotiating territory agreements with the Calabrese family, 6 hours of barely veiled threats and counter-threats dressed up as business proposals. All he wants is to see Elena. To wrap his arms around her, breathe in the scent of her jasmine perfume, feel her soft weight against him. She's his peace in a world of chaos, his light in the darkness he navigates daily. Marco, he says into his phone as he pours himself a scotch. I'm home. Where's my wife? The pause on the other end makes his hand still on the crystal decanter. Sir, we have a situation. Matteo's blood turns to ice. A situation. In his world, that word means kidnapping, assassination, betrayal. His mind immediately goes to the worst possibilities, rival families, enemies, threats he hasn't anticipated. What happened? Where is she? His voice is deadly calm, the tone is men know means someone is about to die. She left, sir. Around 3:15 this afternoon. Antonio drove her to the train station. The words don't make sense. Left. Elena left. Left him. What do you mean she left? He sets down the glass carefully, his hand perfectly steady even as his world tilts. Left where? For what? We don't know. Antonio said she told him she was going to Milan, but the security footage shows her purchasing a ticket to Lugano. She had a suitcase. And sir. Marco hesitates. She removed the SIM card from her phone. Matteo's mind races. Lugano. Switzerland. The border. Elena planned this. His sweet, gentle wife who smiled at him over breakfast this morning, who kissed him goodbye and told him to be safe in Milan, she planned her escape. Find her, he says, his voice low and dangerous. Call every contact we have in Lugano. Check the border crossings. I want her location within the hour. There's something else, sir. Maria said the signora left something in your bedroom. You should see it. Matteo takes the stairs 2 at a time, his heart hammering against his ribs. His bedroom door is open, afternoon light streaming through the windows. Everything looks normal, the perfectly made bed, the fresh flowers Maria arranges daily, the view of the lake that Elena loves. Then he sees it. The cream envelope on his pillow, his wife's wedding ring resting on top like an accusation. His hands shake as he picks up the ring, the metal still warm as if she just removed it. The inscription inside catches the light, Eternamente tuo. Eternally yours. He opens the envelope. Elena's handwriting, elegant and precise, fills the page. My dearest Matteo. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. Please understand, this is not a decision I've made lightly. I've agonized over it for months, turned it over in my mind 1,000 times, hoping I might find another way. But there isn't one. You've given me everything a woman could want. Security, luxury, protection, love, God, so much love it sometimes takes my breath away. But in giving me everything, you've taken something I can't live without, myself. I'm 28 years old, and I've forgotten who I am. I was an architect before we met, Matteo. I designed buildings, created spaces where people could live and work and dream. Now I can barely remember what my drafting table looked like, because you won't let me work. You say it's too dangerous, that your enemies might use my career against you. I had friends, people I'd known since university, people who made me laugh and challenged me and reminded me I was more than just someone's wife. But one by one, you pushed them away. Too risky, you said. We can't be sure of their loyalty. Until I had no one left but your family, your associates, people who see me as an extension of you rather than a person in my own right. I love you. Please believe that. I love you so much it terrifies me, because I finally understand that love can be a prison just as surely as hate can be. Your love wraps around me like chains made of silk and diamonds, beautiful, precious, suffocating. You think you're protecting me, but you're killing me. The woman you fell in love with, the woman who stood up to you in that gallery, who challenged your ideas about art and life, who wasn't afraid of your world, she's disappearing a little more each day. Soon she'll be gone completely, replaced by this perfect, docile version you're creating. I can't be her. I won't be her. I need you to let me go. I need you to understand that some things can't be protected, can't be locked away for safekeeping. Love is one of them. So is the soul. Don't look for me. Please. If you truly love me, if any part of you understands what I'm saying, let me find myself again. Maybe someday, when I'm whole, when I remember who Elena Rossi was before she became Elena Marchetti, we can find each other again. But not like this. Never again like this. Goodbye forever, my love. You'll always have a piece of my heart, but I need to save the rest of it for myself. Eternamente, Elena. Matteo reads the letter 3 times, each word cutting deeper than the last. His hands crumple the paper, smooth it out, crumple it again. His vision blurs. She's right. Every accusation she levels at him is correct. He has caged her, molded her, shaped her into something safe and controllable because the alternative, Elena out in the world, vulnerable, exposed to his enemies, is unthinkable. But she's thinking it. She's already done it. His phone rings. Marco again. Sir, we've located her. She got off at Chiasso, crossed into Switzerland on foot. The Swiss police won't cooperate without proper authorization, but our contact at the bank saw her at the main branch in Lugano 2 hours ago. She withdrew €10,000 from a personal account we didn't know she had. €10,000. She's been planning this for months, maybe longer. Skimming money, preparing documents, researching escape routes. All while smiling at him across the breakfast table, while lying beside him in bed, while whispering, "I love you," in the dark. What are your orders? Marco asks carefully. Matteo stares at his wife's wedding ring, at the letter that holds more truth than he's faced in years. He could have her found within hours. His network spans all of northern Italy and well into Switzerland. He could bring her back, lock her in this palazzo, surround her with so much security she'd never escape again. He could. But Elena would never forgive him. And more importantly, he would prove every word of her letter true. Sir. Marco prompts. Stand down, Matteo says finally, the words like gravel in his throat. No pursuit. No surveillance. Let her go. The silence on the other end is deafening. Sir, with respect. I said let her go, Matteo roars, his control finally snapping. Get out. All of you. I don't want anyone in this house. Leave. He ends the call and hurls the phone across the room. It shatters against the wall, pieces scattering across the marble floor like his heart. Then Matteo Marchetti, who hasn't cried since he was 12 years old and watched his father die, sinks to his knees beside the bed and weeps. The coffee shop where I work smells like burnt espresso and broken dreams. It's nothing like the palazzo, nothing like the life I left behind, and that's exactly why I chose it. My hands move automatically, grinding beans, steaming milk, wiping down counters. The work is mindless, repetitive, anonymous. Perfect. I'm just another barista in a city of strangers, another face in the crowd. No one here knows I'm Elena Marchetti. No one knows I'm married to one of the most powerful men in Italy. Was married, I correct myself, though I haven't filed the papers yet. Can't bring myself to make it that final. Elena, table 7 needs clearing, my manager calls in German accented English. Elena. Not Signora. Not Mrs. Marchetti. Just Elena. I should feel liberated. Instead, I feel hollow. The apartment I'm renting is a studio in Zurich's industrial district, 400 square feet of peeling paint and questionable plumbing. My neighbors are students and immigrants and people running from something, just like me. No one asks questions. No one cares. This is freedom, I remind myself every morning when I wake on the lumpy mattress, every night when I eat instant ramen because I'm saving money, every time I walk past a window and catch my reflection, thinner now, shadows under my eyes, my hair pulled into a careless bun. This is what I wanted. So why does it feel like I'm dying? My phone, the new one with the new number, buzzes in my apron pocket. It's Anna, my only friend here, a German artist I met at the laundromat who doesn't understand why I flinch when strangers walk too close or why I check over my shoulder constantly. Drinks tonight. You need to get out. I type back, can't. Early shift tomorrow. Another lie. I have dozens of them now, a whole architecture of falsehoods I've built to keep people at arm's length. Because letting anyone close means risking questions I can't answer. The truth is I'm afraid to go out after dark. Afraid of who might find me. Afraid that Matteo changed his mind about letting me go, that his men are searching for me, that any moment someone will grab me and drag me back to that beautiful prison. But I'm more afraid of something else, that he hasn't changed his mind. That he really did let me go, just like I asked. That I'm free and he's moved on and everything I sacrificed was for nothing. The late afternoon sun slants through the coffee shop windows, painting the scarred tables gold. I'm wiping down the espresso machine when the bell above the door chimes. I don't look up. After 3 weeks, I've learned not to check every new customer's face, searching for familiar features that will never come. Espresso, please. Double shot. My hands freeze. That voice, deep, cultured, with a Roman accent I'd know anywhere. Not Matteo. Someone from his world. I force myself to turn slowly, professionally, my expression neutral. The man at the counter is in his 50s, impeccably dressed in a navy suit, his silver hair perfectly styled. I've seen him before, in the palazzo, at dinners with Matteo's associates. Salvatore Conti. Matteo's consigliere. His most trusted advisor. The morning light filters through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the penthouse, casting golden stripes across the white silk sheets. I wake slowly, cocooned in warmth, Alessandro's arm heavy across my waist, his breath steady against the back of my neck. For a moment, I let myself sink into this feeling, safe, loved, home. It's been 7 months since he walked into the community center where I taught art to at-risk kids. 7 months since he saw me covered in finger paint, arguing with a 10-year-old about whether dinosaurs could be purple. 7 months since he looked at me with those dark, dangerous eyes and said, "You're exactly what I've been looking for," though I didn't know it until now. I shift slightly, and his arm tightens instinctively, even in sleep. This is Alessandro Moretti, the man whose name makes grown men pale, who owns half of Chicago's underground, who has blood on his hands I'll never ask about. And yet, here, in the soft morning light, he's just the man who traces circles on my hip when he's thinking, who brings me coffee exactly how I like it, who whispers Italian endearments into my hair when he thinks I'm sleeping. My hand moves to my stomach, still flat but holding a secret that's transforming everything. 10 weeks. We found out 3 weeks ago, and I watched his face shift through shock, fear, wonder, and finally, a fierce protectiveness that made my breath catch. He dropped to his knees right there in our bathroom, pressing his forehead against my belly, and said in Italian, "I will keep you both safe. No matter what." "You're awake," his voice rumbles behind me, rough with sleep. "I can feel you thinking." I turn in his arms to face him. At 38, Alessandro is devastatingly handsome in that dangerous way, sharp jaw shadowed with morning stubble, dark hair falling over his forehead, eyes that shift between tenderness and something much darker depending on who's looking at him. Right now, they're soft, focused entirely on me. "Just counting my blessings," I say, and it's not a lie. He reaches up, tucking a strand of my auburn hair behind my ear. "You're too good for this world, Elena. Too good for my world." It's something he says often, usually right before he shows me exactly how thoroughly I belong to him anyway. "Stop," I whisper, pressing my finger to his lips. "We've been through this. I chose you. I choose you every day. Even knowing what I am. Especially knowing what you are." I lean forward, kissing him softly. You're the man who funds my entire program anonymously. Who sits through terrible kindergarten art shows because I'm helping organize them. Who learned to make carbonara because I mentioned once that I missed it. His hand slides down to rest on my stomach. And now you're giving me something I never thought I'd have. A family that isn't built on blood and loyalty and fear. The tenderness in his voice makes my chest ache. This is the Alessandro only I see, the boy who grew up too fast in a world that showed no mercy, who built walls so high around his heart I'm still amazed I found a way through. I have to go in today, he says, and I hear the regret in his voice. The meeting with the Calabrese family. It's been scheduled for months. I nod, understanding. The Calabrese situation has been brewing for weeks, territorial disputes, shipments going missing, tension that could explode into violence if not handled carefully. Alessandro has been working toward a peaceful resolution, spending hours in negotiations, trying to avoid bloodshed. How long? I ask. Hopefully just the afternoon. But Elena, his voice takes on that serious tone that means he's about to be overprotective. Marco will be here if you need anything. And you have my private line. I'll be fine, I assure him. I'm just planning to grade some papers, maybe take a nap. Growing a human is exhausting work. He kisses my forehead, then my nose, then my lips. Rest. I'll be home by dinner. I promise. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. 2 hours later, he's gone, and I'm curled up on the couch in one of his shirts, student artwork spread across the coffee table. The penthouse feels enormous when he's not here, all marble and modern art and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago skyline. It's beautiful, but sometimes I miss my old studio apartment with its creaky radiator and view of a brick wall. That place felt like mine. This place, even after 7 months, sometimes feels like I'm playing dress-up in someone else's life. My phone buzzes, a text from my best friend Sarah. Of course, sir, I say in English, praying he doesn't recognize me. I've changed, lost weight, no makeup, cheap clothes, my hair darker now from a box dye I applied in my bathroom 3 days ago. But his eyes sharpen with recognition immediately. Signora Marchetti, he says softly in Italian, a statement not a question. We need to talk. My heart hammers against my ribs. I don't know who you're talking about. There's a car outside. We can do this easily, or we can do it difficultly. But either way, you're coming with me. His hand moves to his jacket, where I know he carries a gun. Not threatening, just informative. This is it. This is when Matteo's men drag me back. When my brief taste of freedom ends. I need to tell my manager. Already handled. She thinks you're leaving early for a family emergency. Salvatore's expression softened slightly. We're not here to hurt you, signora. But you're in danger. Real danger. And whether you like it or not, Illinois Signore sent me to protect you. The word protect tastes like bile. I don't want his protection. That's the whole point. This isn't about what you want anymore. Someone put a price on your head 3 days ago. €500,000 to whoever delivers you, alive, to the Calabrese family. The room tilts. The Calabrese. Matteo's oldest enemies, the family he was negotiating with when I left. They must have learned about our separation, sensed weakness. Why would they want me if I'm not with Matteo anymore? Salvatore's laugh is bitter. Because you're still his wife. Because leverage doesn't expire with separation. And because the moment you left, you made yourself vulnerable. He leans forward. He knew this would happen. That's why he let you go, he thought you'd be safer away from him. But he was wrong. My legs feel weak. I grab the counter for support. Where is he? Where do you think? Going insane. He hasn't slept in 3 weeks. Barely eats. Runs his empire from that study of his and stares at your letter like it's the only thing keeping him alive. Salvatore's eyes are hard with something like accusation. You broke him, Signora. Completely. The words hit like physical blows. I imagine Matteo, my strong, controlled husband who never shows weakness, falling apart. Because of me. The car is outside, Salvatore says again. We need to move. Now. The safe house is in the Swiss mountains, 2 hours from Zurich. It's not as grand as the palazzo, but it's luxurious by any normal standard, a modern chalet with floor-to-ceiling windows, state-of-the-art security, and 3 of Matteo's most trusted men stationed outside. Another cage. A different cage, but still. How long do I have to stay here? I ask Salvatore as he shows me to a bedroom that's larger than my entire studio apartment. Until we neutralize the threat. A few days, maybe a week. He pauses at the door. He wanted to come himself. To bring you here, to explain. I told him that would be a mistake. Why? Because the moment he sees you, he won't be able to let you go again. And you'd hate him for it. Salvatore's expression softens. He loves you more than his own life, Signora. Do you understand what that means for a man like Matteo Marchetti? Love is weakness in our world. You're his weakness. And now his enemies know it. After he leaves, I sink onto the bed, king-sized, covered in soft linens that smell faintly of cedar. Through the window, the Alps rise against a darkening sky, peaks painted pink and gold by the setting sun. I should feel grateful. Matteo is still protecting me, even after I left him. Even after I broke his heart. Instead, I feel angry. Because Salvatore is right, leaving Matteo didn't free me from his world. It just made me more vulnerable to it. My new phone buzzes. Unknown number. I'm sorry, Tesoro. I never meant for this to happen. Please be safe. Please let them protect you. My hands shake as I type back, how did you get this number? The response comes immediately, I've always had this number. I've known where you were since the moment you crossed the border. I just respected your wish to be left alone. He's been watching me. This whole time, thinking I was free, he's been watching. Then why now? Why send Salvatore? Because the Calabrese made their move. Because I'd rather have you hate me for protecting you than attend your funeral. I stare at the message, tears blurring the screen. This is exactly what I ran from, Matteo making decisions for me, controlling my life, choosing my safety over my autonomy. But he's not wrong. The Calabrese are dangerous. Without Matteo's protection, I'm prey. I need to see you, I type before I can stop myself. If I'm going to be locked up again, I deserve to see your face. The 3 dots indicating he's typing appear, disappear, appear again. Finally, tomorrow. I'll come at noon. But Elena. I won't stay. I can't. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. That night, I don't sleep. I rehearse everything I want to say to him, all the anger and hurt and confusion I've been carrying for 3 weeks. But I also remember the good parts. The way he used to trace patterns on my back until I fell asleep. His laugh, rare and genuine, when I said something that caught him off guard. The fierce way he loved me, like I was the only thing in his world worth protecting. The problem was never that Matteo didn't love me enough. It was that he loved me too much, in the wrong way. Matteo Marchetti arrives at precisely noon, as promised. I watch from the window as his black Mercedes winds up the mountain road, flanked by 2 security vehicles. An armed convoy for a conversation. That's our life now. I've dressed carefully, jeans and a simple sweater, my own clothes, not the designer pieces he used to buy me. My hair is down, the home-dyed job obvious in daylight. I want him to see what I've become without him. Not the polished wife he created, but the real me. When the door opens and he steps inside, my breath catches. Salvatore wasn't exaggerating. Matteo looks like hell. His usual perfect appearance is gone, beard unkempt, shadows under his eyes so dark they look like bruises, his suit rumpled like he slept in it. He's lost weight, his cheekbones sharp, his eyes haunted. He looks at me like a man dying of thirst looks at water. Elena. My name is a prayer, a curse, a plea. Matteo. I stay where I am, afraid if I move closer I'll break. You look terrible. A ghost of his old smile. You look different. I dyed my hair darker. Thought it might help me blend in. I touched the ends self-consciously. Stupid, probably. Your men found me anyway. I would have found you anywhere. It's not a threat, just a fact. The hair doesn't matter. You're still the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Silence stretches between us, heavy with everything unsaid. Salvatore hovers near the door, giving us space but not leaving entirely. Why did you really let me go? I ask finally. The truth. Matteo runs a hand through his hair, a gesture of exhaustion. Because you asked me to. Because every word in your letter was true, and I couldn't deny it. His voice cracks. Because I realized that keeping you against your will, even wrapped in love, was just another form of violence. I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting him to admit it so plainly. But you were watching me the whole time. Yes. No apology in his tone. I let you go, Elena. I didn't say I could stop caring whether you lived or died. That's not freedom, Matteo. No, he agrees. But it's the closest thing to it I could give you. I stayed away. Didn't contact you. Didn't interfere. Even when I saw you working in that coffee shop, living in that apartment, eating instant noodles for dinner, his voice breaks. Do you know what it cost me to watch you struggle and not intervene? You were supposed to let me go completely. I did. His shout echoes through the chalet. Then, softer, I did, tesoro. I gave you exactly what you asked for. But I can't control my enemies. I can't control the Calabrese deciding you're an easy target. All I can control is whether or not I let them take you. He moves closer, and I see the barely controlled desperation in his eyes. I'm not here to bring you back to the palazzo. I'm not here to cage you again. I'm here to keep you alive long enough to figure out how to fix this. Fix what? The contract on my head, or us? Both. Neither. I don't know. He laughs, the sound broken. All I know is that for 3 weeks, I've been trying to figure out how to give you freedom while keeping you safe, and there's no answer. There's no world where you get to live your life and I get to sleep at night knowing you're protected. Because my world doesn't work that way. I study his face, the man I fell in love with 5 years ago, still visible beneath the exhaustion and pain. So what do we do? I neutralize the threat. I make it clear to every family from here to Calabria that you're untouchable, that touching you means war. And then. He swallows hard. Then I let you go again. For real this time. I'll set you up somewhere safe, somewhere far from Italy, with enough money and protection that. I don't want your money, Matteo. I don't care what you want. His control finally snaps. You almost died. Do you understand that? 3 days ago, a Calabrese scout was in Zurich. He had your photo, your address, your work schedule. If Salvatore hadn't intercepted him, if we'd been even 6 hours slower, he can't finish. So forgive me if I don't give a damn about respecting your wishes when it comes to keeping you alive. We're both breathing hard, the air between us electric with tension and unspoken longing. You can't protect me forever, I whisper. Watch me. His jaw sets with familiar stubbornness. I'll burn down every family in Italy if I have to. I'll make you so untouchable that even thinking your name becomes suicide. And then, when you're safe, when I know you can live without looking over your shoulder. His voice drops. Then I'll let you go. I'll give you the divorce you want, the freedom you deserve. But not before. And if I don't want a divorce? The question hangs in the air. Matteo stares at me like I've just said something in a language he doesn't understand. What are you saying? I'm saying I've had 3 weeks to think about what I really want. 3 weeks of freedom, of poverty, of being just another face in the crowd. And you know what I realized? Tears streamed down my face. I don't want a life without you in it. I just want a life where I'm more than just your wife. Where I'm Elena and Signora Marchetti. Where your protection doesn't mean my imprisonment. Elena. I miss you. The words burst out of me. I miss you so much it physically hurts. I miss waking up next to you. I miss your terrible jokes. I miss the way you look at me like I'm the only person in the room. I even miss your overprotective bullshit, because at least it means someone cares whether I live or die. I take a step toward him. But I can't go back to the way things were. I need a partnership, Matteo. Not a dictatorship. I need you to trust me to make my own decisions, even when they scare you. Even when they're dangerous. I can't. His voice is agonized. Don't you understand? The thought of you in danger makes me insane. I've killed men for less than looking at you wrong. How am I supposed to just let you take risks? By trusting that I'm strong enough to handle your world. By including me instead of sheltering me. By letting me be your equal instead of your possession. I'm close enough to touch him now. I don't need you to save me, Matteo. I need you to stand beside me. His hand reaches out, trembling, to cup my face. His thumb traces my cheekbone with infinite gentleness. What if I can't change? What if this is who I am? Then we figure it out together. Compromises. Boundaries. Therapy, if we have to. I lean into his touch, starving for it. But we do it together. No more decisions made for me. No more treating me like porcelain. You're my whole world, Elena. If something happened to you. Something almost happened because I left. Because I was out there alone, unprotected. Maybe your way isn't the only wrong way. Maybe my way was too. I grab his shirt, pulling him closer. Maybe we need to find a third way. Our way. For a long moment, he just stares at me, searching my face for something. Truth, maybe. Or permission to hope. Then he kisses me. It's not gentle. It's 3 weeks of agony and longing and fear poured into one desperate connection. His hands tangle in my dyed hair. Mine grip his shoulders. We kiss like drowning people breaking the surface, like we'll die if we stop. When we finally break apart, we're both crying. I love you, he says against my lips. God help me, I'll always love you. I love you too. That was never the problem. Can you forgive me? For caging you, Can you forgive me for leaving? We stand there, foreheads pressed together, breathing each other's air. Broken and messy and imperfect. But together. We'll figure it out, I whisper. Together, he agrees. Behind us, Salvatore clears his throat. As touching as this is, we still have the Calabrese problem. Matteo doesn't let me go, but his expression hardens into something dangerous. Then we deal with it. Permanently. What does that mean? I ask. He looks down at me, and I see both the man I love and the ruthless operator who built an empire. It means I'm going to make an example of them. It means anyone who even thinks about touching you will learn exactly why no one crosses the Marchetti family. Matteo. This is non-negotiable, Elena. You want to be included. Fine. You're included. But that means you accept what I am, what I have to do to keep us safe. His eyes bore into mine. Can you do that? Can you love me and accept the blood on my hands? The question is fair. I've been asking him to change, to trust me, to let me into his world. But his world is dark. His world is violent. His world is everything I've been sheltered from. Can I handle it? Do I have a choice? Yes, I say finally. But I have conditions. A surprised laugh escapes him. Conditions. I want to go back to work. Architecture. Maybe not a big firm at first, but something. Freelance projects. I need to use my degree. He nods slowly. From the palazzo. With security. With reasonable security. 1 bodyguard, not an army. 2 bodyguards. 1.5. Despite everything, he grins. There's no such thing as half a bodyguard, tesoro. Then we're negotiating. I poke his chest. This is what compromise looks like, Matteo. Me asking for what I need. You adjusting your insane overprotectiveness. Both of us meeting in the middle. I hate the middle. I know. Do it anyway. He sighs, long and exaggerated. Fine. 1 bodyguard. But I choose him. Deal. I hold out my hand solemnly. He shakes it, then pulls me close again. What else? I want friends. Real friends, not just your associates' wives. And I get to vet them myself. With background checks. Light background checks. Not full CIA level investigations. FBI level. Matteo. I'm kidding. He kisses my forehead. Mostly. We stand there, holding each other, and for the first time in 3 weeks, I feel like I can breathe fully. This isn't perfect. We're not fixed. But we're trying. That's more than we had before. So, I say after a while. How exactly are you planning to deal with the Calabrese? His expression goes cold. Do you really want to know? Yes. If I'm going to be your partner, not your prisoner, then I need to know everything. The good and the bad. He studies me for a long moment, then nods. All right. But Elena, once you know, you can't unknow it. Once you're in this world completely, there's no going back to innocence. I left innocence behind the moment I married you, I say softly. I just didn't admit it. Fair enough. He guides me to the couch, sitting beside me, our hands still intertwined. The Calabrese put out the contract because they think I'm weak right now. Distracted by our separation. They think if they take you, they can force me to concede territory, business interests, maybe even my position in the commission. The commission. The ruling body. The 5 families that control organized crime in northern Italy. He says it matter-of-factly, no shame. This is his world. My father built his seat there. I've held it since he died. The Calabrese want it. I process this. My husband, the man I've been married to for 3 years, isn't just connected to organized crime. He's one of its leaders. Go on, I say, proud that my voice stays steady. So we show them what happens when they miscalculate. We hit their operations, shipping, gambling, whatever leverage we can find. We make it expensive to come after us. And we make an example of whoever put out the contract. An example. The euphemism is obvious. Elena. Don't sanitize it for me. You're going to kill them. He doesn't flinch. Yes. I should be horrified. The Elena who walked down the aisle 3 years ago, naive and in love, would have been horrified. But that Elena also thought Matteo was just a successful businessman, that the security was paranoia, that the late-night meetings were about restaurants and real estate. This Elena knows better. Will it work? Will it keep me safe? Yes. Absolutely. No hesitation. By the time I'm done, your name will be so radioactive that no one will dare touch you. And the cost? War. Probably. Short term. But I have allies. The Commission won't let the Calabrese move against me without consequences. He squeezes my hand. I'll win, Tesoro. I always do. His confidence should be reassuring. Instead, it's terrifying, not because I doubt him, but because I'm realizing how much power he actually wields. How dangerous he actually is. And I'm choosing to stay anyway. Okay, I say finally. Do what you have to do. He blinks, surprised. Just like that. You asked me to accept what you are. This is me accepting it. I meet his eyes. But Matteo. I need to be involved. Not in the violence, but in the strategy. If we're partners, if this is our life, then I need to understand it. All of it. For a moment, I think he'll refuse. Then slowly, he nods. All right. But we start small. You attend meetings, learn the players, understand the dynamics. No fieldwork. No danger. Yet. Ever. I smile. We'll see. Elena. Baby steps, amore. We're negotiating, remember. He groans, pulling me into his lap. You're going to be the death of me. Probably, I agree cheerfully. But at least you'll die happy. He kisses me again, softer this time, and I taste promises neither of us can keep but we'll try anyway. Behind us, Salvatore mutters something in Italian about impossible women and men who don't know when to quit. We ignore him. For the first time since I left, I feel like myself again. Not the caged wife, not the runaway, but something new. Something stronger. Elena Marchetti, partner to a Mafia boss. Equal parts terrifying and thrilling. But I've made my choice. Now I just have to survive it. The war room in Matteo's palazzo looks nothing like the elegant spaces I once knew. The formal dining room has been transformed into a command center, maps spread across the table, laptops open, secure phone lines running. 6 of Matteo's most trusted men sit around the table, including Salvatore and Marco. And me. I'm wearing jeans and a sweater, my dyed hair pulled back, no makeup. Not the decorative wife anymore. Now I'm here because I've spent 2 weeks learning the family business, understanding the territories, the alliances, the intricate web of power that keeps Matteo's empire running. The Calabrese have fortified their position in Genoa, Marco says, pointing to a map. 3 new security checkpoints here, here, and here. They're expecting retaliation. Let them expect it, Matteo says, his voice cold. He's different in this mode, the tender husband gone, replaced by the calculating leader. What about their financials? Exposed, Salvatore replies. We've traced their money laundering operation through Malta. If we leak it to the Guardia di Finanza. No. I speak up, and 6 pairs of eyes turn to me. I've learned not to wilt under their scrutiny. If you expose them to the financial police, you create chaos but not resolution. They'll know it came from you, but they can't prove it. It just escalates. What do you suggest, Signora? Marco asks. There's no condescension in his tone anymore. I've earned a measure of respect these past 2 weeks. Make them an offer. A way out that doesn't cost them everything. I look at Matteo. You want the contract on me gone. They want to save face. So we give them something they need, access to your shipping routes in the north, in exchange for public withdrawal of the bounty and a non-aggression pact. That's weak, one of the younger men protests. They tried to take the Signora. We should destroy them. Destroy them and you start a war that costs millions and dozens of lives, I counter. Win strategically and you gain a dependent ally. Which is worth more? Silence around the table. Then Matteo leans back, studying me with something like pride in his eyes. She's right, he says quietly. We offer terms. Generous enough to accept, harsh enough to remind them who holds power. If they refuse. His voice hardens. Then we destroy them. The meeting continues for another hour, but the decision is made. Matteo will reach out to the Calabrese Don, propose a summit, and negotiate from a position of strength. It's not the violent retribution I expected. It's smarter. After everyone leaves, Matteo pulls me into his study, closing the door behind us. That was impressive, he says, wrapping his arms around me. Salvatore wanted blood. Marco wanted fire. You found the third option. Isn't that what you hired me for? I tease, then grow serious. But Matteo, what if they don't accept? What if they want war? Then we give it to them. He cups my face, his expression softening. But we try peace first. For you. For us, I correct. He kisses me, slow and deep, and I taste the promise of the life we're building together. Complicated, dangerous, imperfect, but ours. The summit is held on neutral ground, a luxury hotel in Milan, with representatives from all 5 commissioned families present as witnesses. Matteo insisted I stay at the palazzo, safely guarded. I refused. If I'm your partner, I told him that morning, then I stand beside you. Especially now. We fought about it for an hour. He deployed every argument, the danger, the impropriety, the fact that bringing me made me a target. I countered each one. Finally, exhausted, he gave in. One condition, he said. You wear a vest. And you stay behind me. Behind, but not hidden, I negotiated. Elena. Those are my terms, Matteo. Take them or I follow you anyway. He recognized his own stubbornness reflected back at him and actually laughed. You're impossible. I learned from the best. Now I sit beside him in the hotel conference room, wearing a Kevlar vest under a designer blazer that Matteo had custom-made. Around the table are the Calabrese Don and his advisors, plus representatives from the other families who look curious and wary in equal measure. Antonio Calabrese is older than I expected, mid-60s with silver hair and cold eyes that assess me like I'm a piece on a chessboard. Marchetti, he says, his voice gravelly from decades of cigars. You bring your wife to a summit. Bold. My wife is why we're here, Matteo replies smoothly. It seemed appropriate. The bounty was business. Nothing personal. You put a price on my wife's head. It's personal. Matteo's voice could cut glass. But I'm here to offer you a way forward instead of the alternative. Which is war. Total war. I'll burn everything you've built until there's nothing left but ash and memory. He says it matter-of-factly, a simple statement of inevitable consequence. Or you can accept my terms, and we both walk away with something. I watch Antonio's face carefully. He's a man used to power, to being feared. Matteo's directness has thrown him off balance. What terms? Matteo slides a document across the table. Public withdrawal of the bounty. A formal apology to my wife and the commission. And a non-aggression pact for 5 years. In exchange, you get access to my northern shipping routes at a 20% discount and my silence about your Malta accounts. Antonio reads the document, his expression unreadable. When he looks up, his eyes go to me. You wrote this. It's not a question. I nod. I did. Why the generosity? Your husband could crush us. He could, I agree. But crushed enemies become martyrs. Dependent allies become assets. This way, everyone wins. Except we look weak. Like we submitted. You look pragmatic, I counter. You took a calculated risk. It didn't pan out. You're smart enough to cut your losses and profit anyway. That's not weakness. That's survival. Antonio studies me for a long moment. I can feel Matteo's tension beside me, his hand close to the weapon I know he's carrying. Around the table, the other family representatives watch with rapt attention. This moment will define relationships for years to come. You're not what I expected, Signora Marchetti, Antonio says finally. Good, I reply. Neither is my husband. Antonio laughs, the sound surprising everyone. I can see why you started a war over her, Marchetti. She's wasted on you. Agreed, Matteo says dryly. Do we have a deal? Antonio picks up a pen, then pauses. One addition. The Signora attends commission meetings. As an advisor. The room erupts in protests. Women don't attend commission meetings. Women aren't part of the business. It's unprecedented, improper, impossible. Done, Matteo says, silencing everyone. He looks at me. If she agrees. All eyes turn to me. This is it, the moment I step fully into his world. Not as decoration, not as leverage, but as a participant. It's everything I wanted and everything I feared. I agree, I say clearly. On the condition that my role is advisory only. I'm not interested in territory or operations. Just strategy. Antonio nods. Acceptable. He signs the document with a flourish. Welcome to the commission, Signora. The other representatives murmur, some approving, some clearly displeased. But none dare contradict Antonio and Matteo together. The balance of power has shifted. As we leave the hotel, Matteo's hand finds mine. That was reckless, he says quietly. Speaking up like that, accepting the commission role without consulting me first. Are you angry? He stops, turning to face me fully. I'm terrified. And proud. And more in love with you than I thought possible. His thumb traces my knuckles. You're going to change everything, Elena. The families, the commission, the way things have always been done. Is that a problem? No, he says softly. It's a revolution. And you're leading it. We're halfway to the car when Marco's voice crackles through Matteo's earpiece. Sir, we have a situation. 3 vehicles, unmarked, approaching from the east. Armed. Matteo's expression hardens instantly. He pushes me toward our armored SUV. Get in. Now. What's happening? The Calabrese brought friends. He shoves me into the back seat, climbing in after me. Or someone else is making a play. Either way, we're leaving. The SUV roars to life, tires squealing as we peel away from the hotel. Through the rear window, I see the 3 vehicles Marco mentioned, black sedans with tinted windows, closing fast. Who are they? I ask, my heart hammering. Don't know yet. Matteo's on his phone, barking orders. Could be Calabrese loyalists who disagreed with Antonio's choice. Could be another family seeing an opportunity. Marco, we need. Glass explodes. The rear window shatters, and suddenly we're in the middle of a high-speed chase through Milan streets. Gunfire erupts, pinging off our armored vehicle. Civilians scatter, screaming. Stay down. Matteo pushes me to the floor, his body covering mine as bullets continue to hammer the SUV. But I've spent 2 weeks learning his world. I know there's a weapon compartment under the back seat. I reach for it, pulling out a handgun I've been practicing with at the secure shooting range. Elena, what are you? I'm not helpless, I snap, checking the magazine like Marco taught me. And I'm not hiding while people shoot at us. You are not shooting back. Matteo's voice is pure command. Watch me. I roll down my bulletproof window, just a crack, just enough, and fire 3 controlled shots at the lead pursuing vehicle. I hit the tire on the second shot. The car swerves, crashes into a parked vehicle, out of the chase. Matteo stares at me, shock and fury and something else warring on his face. When did you learn to shoot like that? Marco's been training me. I told you, baby steps. Partners, remember. I'm going to kill Marco. You're going to thank him if we survive this. Our driver takes a hard turn into an underground parking garage, trying to lose the remaining pursuers. We spiral down level after level, our tires screaming. Behind us, the 2 remaining vehicles follow. They're hurting us, Matteo realizes. Trying to trap us in the garage. He's right. We hit the bottom level, nowhere left to go. The SUV skids to a stop, and suddenly we're surrounded. Men in black tactical gear emerge from the shadows, weapons raised. This was a setup. Someone knew we'd be here, knew our exit routes, planned this perfectly. Stay in the car, Matteo commands. He and our 2 bodyguards move to engage, using the SUV for cover. But I see what they don't, more men emerging from a stairwell behind us. We're about to be caught in a crossfire. Matteo. 6 o'clock. He spins, sees the threat, but he's too exposed. The men behind us are raising their weapons, and there's no time. I don't think. I act. I push open my door and fire, dropping the first attacker with 2 shots center mass. Then the second. Then I'm out of the vehicle, using the door as cover, firing controlled bursts like Marco taught me. Elena, get back in the car. Matteo roars, but he's engaged with the men in front of us, pinned down. One of the attackers breaks from cover, making a run at Matteo's exposed side. I track him, squeeze the trigger. Click. Empty. The attacker sees my predicament, grins, and raises his weapon at Matteo's head. Time slows. I see it all, Matteo focused on the wrong threat, the gunman's finger tightening on the trigger, the end of everything we've fought for. I throw myself forward, tackling the gunman's legs just as he fires. The shot goes wide, missing Matteo by inches. The attacker and I crash to the concrete, his weapon skittering away. He's bigger, stronger, trained. His fist connects with my ribs, and I feel something crack. Pain explodes through my chest. But I've got my hand on his dropped weapon now, and survival instinct takes over. I jam the gun under his chin and fire. The garage goes silent except for the ringing in my ears. I stand slowly, shakily, the weapon falling from my trembling hands. Around us, the attackers are down, some dead, some wounded and being secured by Matteo's men who've arrived as backup. Matteo is staring at me, his face white, his expression unreadable. You saved my life, he says quietly. You do the same for me. I try to smile, but my ribs scream in protest. Partners, remember. Then the adrenaline wears off, and I see what I've done. See the blood on my hands, literal and metaphorical. See the body of the man I just killed lying at my feet. I killed someone. The realization hits like a physical blow. My legs give out. Matteo catches me before I fall, his arms wrapping around me, careful of my injured ribs. I've got you, he whispers. I've got you, tesoro. You're safe now. But I'm not safe. None of us are. Because I've just crossed a line I can never uncross. I've become part of his world completely, irrevocably. And I'm not sure if that makes me brave or broken. 1 week later. The doctor said 3 cracked ribs, some bruising, and a mild concussion. I got off light, all things considered. The man I killed turned out to be a mercenary, hired by a splinter faction of the Calabrese family who disagreed with Antonio's treaty. The old Don had them rounded up within 24 hours. Their bodies were found in the Ligurian Sea. Message sent. Message received. I've been given a room in the palazzo's medical wing, though I've insisted on moving back to our bedroom. Matteo has barely left my side, hovering like I might shatter. I'm fine, I tell him for the 100th time. Ribs heal. I'm okay. You're not okay. He sits on the edge of the bed, his hand gentle on my face. You killed someone, Elena. That's not nothing. I know. The nightmares prove that. I see the man's face every time I close my eyes. But I'd do it again. To save you, I'd do it 1,000 times. That's what scares me. His voice is raw. You were supposed to be better than this. Better than me. And I've dragged you down into. Stop. I grab his hand. I made my choice, Matteo. Every step of the way, I chose this. I chose you. And yes, it's dark and dangerous and nothing like what I imagined my life would be. But it's our life. Mine and yours. You could still leave. I'd let you go. I'd set you up somewhere safe, somewhere far from. I'm not leaving. I pull him down to kiss me, ignoring the protest from my ribs. I'm not running again. We're in this together, for better or worse. Isn't that what I promised? He rests his forehead against mine, his breathing shaky. I love you so much it terrifies me. Good. Be terrified. Be protective. Be all the impossible things you are. I smile against his lips. Just don't try to cage me again. Never, he promises. But Elena, we need to talk about what happens now. What do you mean? He pulls back slightly, his expression serious. You're a commission advisor now. You've proven yourself in combat. You've earned respect from the families. But that comes with consequences. There will be more attempts, more danger. Your life will never be simple or safe. I know. And... He hesitates. What about the future? Children. If we have them, they'll be born into this world. Targets from birth. Is that something you can accept? The question stops me cold. I hadn't thought that far ahead. Hadn't considered what it would mean to bring children into his world, into our world now. I don't know, I admit. Can you? I've been thinking about it constantly. Wondering if I have the right to pass this life to another generation. His hand finds my stomach, resting there with infinite gentleness. But when I imagine a daughter with your eyes, or a son with your courage. I want it, Elena. I want everything with you. Tears blur my vision. Even knowing what they'd face. We'd protect them. Train them. Give them choices I never had. His voice strengthens with conviction. And they'd have something I didn't, parents who love each other, who chose each other. That's worth something. The commission meeting room has been renovated to accommodate its new members. 6 women now sit alongside their husbands, advisors, strategists, voices that were silent for generations. I watch them settle into their roles, finding their power, and I feel proud. This is what I wanted, not just freedom for myself, but change for everyone trapped in the old patterns. Matteo squeezes my hand under the table, and I squeeze back. We've found our balance, our third way. He still worries, still hovers sometimes. I still push boundaries, still test his patience. But we talk now. We negotiate. We compromise. We're partners. After the meeting, we drive back to the palazzo along familiar roads. The autumn sun paints Lake Como gold and crimson. It's beautiful here. It's always been beautiful here. But now it's not a prison. It's home. I have something to tell you, I say as we pull up to the house. Matteo looks over, concerned. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I take his hand, place it on my stomach. Everything's right. He stares at me, understanding dawning slowly. Elena, are you? 12 weeks. I wanted to wait until I was sure. We're having a baby. His voice is filled with wonder, terror, joy. We're really? Yes. I laugh at his expression. You're going to be a father. He pulls me into his arms, careful despite his enthusiasm, and I feel him trembling. I'm terrified, he admits. Good. Me too. We'll be terrified together. He cups my face, his eyes shining. I promise you, our child will have everything. Safety, love, choices. They'll know they're wanted. They'll never doubt it for a second. I know, I whisper. Because you're you. And because we're us. We sit there in the car, holding each other, imagining the future. It won't be easy. There will be danger, challenges, moments when we question everything. But we'll face it together, Matteo and Elena, Elena and Matteo. Partners, lovers, equals. I think about the woman I was 7 months ago, standing in this bedroom, packing a suitcase and leaving a goodbye letter. She was brave to leave. But she's braver now, having come back. Because leaving was running. Coming back was choosing. And every day since, we've both made that choice, to love each other despite the darkness, to build something better than what came before, to be more than our worst instincts. It's not a fairy tale ending. There's no happily ever after in our world. Just happy for now and the promise to keep fighting for it. But that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. 2 years later. Our daughter, Sophia, has Matteo's dark eyes and my stubborn spirit. At 18 months, she's already testing boundaries, pushing limits, making her father gray with worry. She's too fearless, Matteo says, watching her climb onto furniture she has no business scaling. Where does she get it from? Can't imagine, I reply, hiding my smile. The palazzo has changed. There's a nursery now, filled with toys and books and soft things. There's laughter in the halls. Life. I still attend commission meetings, now with Sophia sometimes sleeping in a carrier against my chest. The other wives bring their children too. The next generation, growing up in a world we're trying to make better. It's not perfect. There are still threats, still danger. Last month someone tried to kidnap one of the other commission children. Matteo's response was swift and brutal. Some things don't change. But some things do. I'm finishing a degree in conflict resolution, applying it to family negotiations. 3 territorial disputes have been settled without bloodshed this year. Small victories, but they matter. Matteo still worries too much. I still push too hard. We still fight about security protocols and risk assessment and whose turn it is to handle the 3 a.m. feeding. But we fight together. We compromise. We build. What are you thinking about? Matteo asks, wrapping his arms around me from behind as we watch our daughter play. How I almost lost this. How close I came to running away forever. I would have found you eventually, he says against my hair. I'll always find you. I know. I lean back into his warmth. But now I don't want to be found. I want to be here. With you. With her. Building something that lasts. Think we'll make it. Long term. I turn in his arms, looking up at the man I chose, who chose me back. Yes, I say with absolute certainty. Because we fight for it. Every single day. He kisses me, soft and sweet, while our daughter babbles happily in the background. This is our life, messy, complicated, dangerous, beautiful. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Not for safety. Not for simplicity. Not for all the freedom in the world. Because this, right here, right now, this man and this child and this imperfect life we've built together, this is where I belong. This is home. And I'm never running again. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.